What's going on, everyone? It's the Cruzin Podcast. Welcome back. We want to talk about today the Mandalorian episode that just came out. We didn't talk about episode 2 because we felt there wasn't a lot really to talk about. Good episode, but no real progression in the plot, which is something that I think we were kind of worried about, and that was our complaints with the first season, how long it took to move the story forward. But we're going to talk about Mandalorian today, episode 3, because that was a pretty good episode. That was awesome. A lot of things, spoilers if you haven't seen the show yet, definitely don't listen in, because it was really cool. And also I want to talk about, you get annoyed every time, but I really wanted to vent about it, like the George Lucas thing and those plot points that came out. More information came out about what could have been George Lucas's sequel trilogy. So this is kind of like our Star Wars episode for today, with Mandalorian just coming out, episode 3. Let's start with Mandalorian. The Bo-Katan and her group show up in this episode, which is crazy because this is the first time we see her in live action. Yeah. Which is the same voice actress that does, and it looks great. And not just that, but this is confirming that Rebels, Clone Wars Rebels, these animated characters that we've been watching for the past couple of years, are morphing and coming into this show into a live action, which is kind of crazy. And so it's kind of cool seeing Dave Filoni bring all this together, Ahsoka Tano is mentioned at the end of the episode, so it looks like that's where Mandalorian is going next. Yep. That's gonna be with Rosario Dawson. Candela. We're gonna have a little Puerto Rican in the house. No, but she's really good. I think she's gonna do well. My main concern is that transition from animated to live action. That's a big jump, and I like that they're taking that risk because you know what? Where this can lead to a lot of, once you're in live action, we can start seeing maybe movies or who knows, right? I don't think so because I think this is Dave Filoni's the one in charge of all this because, he's the competent one. Because
it's his character.
Yeah, it's his character. This is all his story. Jon Favreau, him, I think are a perfect team. They're doing great. So we get Bo-Katan showing up, right? I looked at a video recap of. So it turns out that, that's her. She's in Clone Wars and Rebels, right? So in Clone Wars, she's with Death Watch. So we find out that the Mando is he was raised by the Watch, the Death Watch. So that's why
with their religious beliefs.
Yeah, that's why you can't take off the helmet, and because you remember people were confused. They're like, wait. They keep saying this is the way you don't take off your helmet, but look at, I think they're talking about Clone Wars. This explains that. Again, this is why I love Dave Filoni, because everybody thought that was going to be like his, they fly now moment, like in Rise of Skywalker, but they've been flying for years. He explains it, it's because there's certain different clans, right? And Death Watch was the more extremist clan that they ended up going too far extreme. Remember when I think they ended up helping Darth Maul.
I wonder if he'll start taking off the helmet now.
I think so. I think it was teasing into that already, where I think he's gonna start merging with these people and realize where he comes from, and maybe we can start seeing his face, which I think ultimately is the goal. Because if you have an actor like Pedro Pascal, at some point.
Well, hopefully it's not too much though.
No. But it makes sense, right? Because if you look at Clone Wars and all that. And then, so she shows up, right? She saves Mando and all that, which was pretty cool. And we knew right off the bat because of the markings and the paint on the helmet. So I was watching the recap. So she was in Clone Wars. It was her sister that was in charge of Mandalore. Remember I was saying mom? It was the sister because I had to refresh my memory.
Her sister was the one with Obi-Wan.
That was interesting. They were saying how she was in love with Obi-Wan. So they're saying how cool would it be if there was some sort,
Oh no!
There's a lot there. No. He's dead by this point, but in the sense of where these stories can go, these middle stories where you can get maybe the Obi-Wan show. But that's a whole other thing. But the sister was the one in charge of Mandalore, but she was with the Death Watch, with that character. Jon Favreau does the voice of him. He gets killed by Darth Maul with the Darksaber. That Darksaber was from that recap of history of it. So it turns out that there was a Mandalorian that became a Jedi, and that was his saber.
He made it.
Like they made it for him, and that was his like
Star Wars theory with all deep lore.
Yeah, him, and then there was another Screen Crush or Screen Rant or something. They did a video as well. So, and then but obviously that passed. The saber became like a pivotal symbol of like hope for that, for the Mandalorians. So whoever has that. It's like they compared it to a bunch of other lores and stuff. So obviously whoever has that Darksaber carries like the key for Mandalorians. So I believe there's a gap between Rebels and here where she loses it to what's the character's name? I keep forgetting, but Gustavo Fring's character.
I don't know the thing.
Pollos Hermanos, the villain for Mandalorian, who has the Darksaber now. Again, we haven't seen him much, so I can't remember.
I can't remember his name.
But there's a period because in Clone Wars,
Sabine Wren had it.
She leaves because she helps fight the war in Mandalore, with Clone Wars and all that.
Had it,
Sabine ends up with it. She finds it in Dathomir.
In Dathomir,
because Darth Maul had it. Yeah, so
it was in his collection.
Yeah, so it was a big refresher because that's all important.
And she got it from there. She was training with it, but then she ended up deciding to give it to Bo-Katan
for her to rule
Mandalore.
And
then we don't know how she lost it.
Yeah, so there's that gap.
Because that's the weird part. Because how does this guy have it, the villain?
If she's still alive, yeah, because you have to trial by combat.
Because you have to die.
Yeah,
you have to
trial by combat. Yeah, well,
trial by combat. Yeah,
same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. So how did unless he just stole it. Like he stole it.
Yeah, so something like that.
I have a feeling he would be the type to steal it because they don't care about.
Or she escaped, right? Something happened. They ambushed her group.
I think it's something where they either stole it or they had like an ambush. Because remember, the Empire they don't really.
Yeah,
they don't care about like that tradition.
Yeah, and I like how in this episode it went a little dark with
Baby Yoda.
And also the Empire, when they're when they're taking over the ship, they're like. Long live the Empire, and he kills both pilots. He was gonna just crash, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, he was gonna go for it.
Yeah, and then there's suicide pill.
That was cool. It's a great episode because and this is why I wanted to talk about the George Lucas thing.
Suck, though.
But it's at the
they're so useless.
That's the whole gimmick, right? Like how bad the stormtroopers are, and they're Mandalorian, so they're badass.
It's like they can't see.
Yeah, they can't see. They can't shoot.
The way they're like their formation. Let's all stay really close to
and just all die.
And one blast, one grenade can just kill.
Yeah, it's a gimmick at this point. I think they're aware of that. That's always been a thing. But this was a great episode. It really pushes the story forward because now we got a taste of. Okay, these characters, Bo-Katan is here.
I think the final few episodes, the last 3...
They're going to team... It's going to be a group.
I think Ezra is coming in.
So that's...
I think he might be the tease at the end.
Yeah, and one thing that's why I wanted to talk about after this episode, talk about the George Lucas thing with Darth Maul and all that he wanted to bring back. Because it's a shame because Sabine getting the Darksaber from Dathomir... That was from Darth Maul. You can really tell that Dave Filoni, if George Lucas was still in control, would have tied in through the shows perfectly that arc of Darth Maul leading into the George Lucas' sequel trilogy, Because who knows what could have happened if he didn't kill off Darth Maul yet in Rebels, if George Lucas was still in control. There could have been a big, arc.
Because he was pretty old already.
Yeah. There could have been a pretty cool arc there, tying into all this. But, it's a shame. But that's why I want to get into this after. But so Sabine gets the Darksaber, gives it, by the end of Rebels, gives it to Bo-Katan. And then there's a period between her and Mandalore with the saber and now. In this Mandalorian where there's history that we're obviously probably going to find out about her and this leader.
Ezra's going to come in, though. I guess he's in a...
Well, I think we're going to see, what was her name? The other one that's with Ahsoka.
Sabine Wren.
Sabine, yes. And Oh no, not the other girl, the
Hera?
green Hera. No, because she's like doing her own. I don't think we're gonna see her.
She had a kid.
She has a kid like she's like on Endor or something, or she helped fight the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, she was like she was there in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I don't see her story coming into play here. Just because I do think like Sabine and Ahsoka, because they're out searching.
Before they bring the monster.
Yeah, I don't. You see, I think that would be too much. I think they're gonna bring back
just certain
Ahsoka
the main
and Sabine, because they're both looking for Ezra.
Sabine and Ezra. I think Ezra's coming in. I
Yeah.
don't know who they're gonna cast.
Yeah. So this is confirming.
That's a big.
Yeah, this is confirming that now. Like, these characters are coming to life. It's gonna be so crazy seeing Ahsoka in live action. I'm scared. Like, how is she gonna look? How is it gonna, But one thing I am confident in, the effects in this show so far have been phenomenal. So I have pure confidence in them that Ahsoka is gonna look great. Because obviously that's a big worry, right?
She's gonna have the best makeup team doing that.
Yeah, and
make sure
so far that the dragon
that
episode 1. All the aliens, the frog character in episode 2 and 3, all these special effects look great. So
I was like laughing in the episode when the frog sees the other frog.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
They're just like running across.
The way, it's like two little frogs.
Yeah, I love how in this show so far so many
monsters,
a lot of creatures, aliens.
Like aliens, yeah.
Because again, the sequel trilogy, no confidence in what Star Wars is about. Showing us
like just one creature,
showing us the diverse amount of like terrestrial life in
I have a feeling that's like I don't know. I have a feeling they do that to show like you can have like the whole set is just full of creatures. You can do it.
You can. It's again, but with the sequel trilogy, there was no confidence there. Nobody wants to see aliens. It's just
That's the main thing.
Again, clearly they don't know what they're talking about, right? And then a great episode. So now we know. I think they're gonna come in later on. They're gonna meet again.
No, I already saw the description of the next episode.
Yeah,
it's nothing. It's the story. It's like he goes.
It's just another filler.
It's just filler.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, damn it. It's like he meets up with Gina. And the other guy, and it's like another side little plot.
Yeah.
It's
their reconnecting episode.
To go there. Oh shit.
To reconnect with them.
There and then.
Yeah. Oh, so Star Wars Theory was right that there's gonna be like a filler episode where it's a reconnecting episode. We get to see those characters again, and then so like they can all go together and probably meet Ahsoka.
I don't think so.
I think so. I think they're gonna want to go with him to help him out or something. Let's see. But so far, this episode was great. It was awesome seeing Bo-Katan and her group like fighting with Mando and them teaming up and taking over the ship and getting a little bit of the Empire, how they are. We got to see the villain. I keep forgetting his name, but we got to see him. He has the dark saber, so I love how it's all kind of like connecting. Again, Dave Filoni, you know what I mean? So let's see. Yeah, next episode's most probably going to be a filler, reconnecting with those characters from season 1, and then we're going to see Ahsoka.
Well,
and we have yet to see what's going on with this Boba Fett character. That was at the end of episode 1. We haven't seen what's going on with him either, because we kind of forgot about that. But where's that going to lead? You know. And how many? Is it confirmed how many episodes there are in this season?
8 chapters.
Oh, so it's 8.
I think it's 8.
They got to start picking this up then.
That's why I've always complained about.
Yeah, because then there shouldn't be this many seasons, right? Like, make it longer. Well, no, I get it, because, I mean, the production is obviously way more. But take a little extra time and just make it a longer season. I don't know. We'll have to see how this season goes. But, yeah, because if there's only 8 episodes...
I think there's only 8.
There's a lot. Boba Fett shows up.
That's why I hate filler, because it's like, dude, just give me a fucking story.
Yeah. Like, Boba Fett shows up. Where's that going to lead? Now we know that Bo-Katan and her group are there. They're around. And then... he is going to see Ahsoka, which is going to be interesting. Most probably with Sabine. And I think this is going to start leading to a place where I think they're going to team up or something. Ezra, did they already find Ezra, or are they still searching for him, you know? stuff like that. But this was a great episode. This is an episode that we needed.
This is tough now because this is like Luke.
Huh?
Like, because this is like where like Luke is a Jedi. We don't know where he is.
Yeah, and
that's the hard part now. Like, because
where's this Baby Yoda in the sequel trilogy, right?
Or why did Luke never had him? Like Luke never like he doesn't sense that there's another.
I think apparently right based off the sequel trilogy.
Like why did Ahsoka never look for Luke?
Yeah, well apparently if we go based off the sequel trilogy, right? Luke when he went into hiding. They're gonna have to acknowledge that, or maybe just not even mention Luke at all. Like,
it's tough, man.
Because if you go based off the sequel trilogy, then it would be like, oh, but Luke was. Remember, he left.
Honestly, like the Force Awakens is 50 years. I think it was 50 years, right? After the return.
Yeah.
So I guess that helps.
But he's been in hiding or something like remember, like it says that Luke.
He was training Jedi.
Early on, yeah, and
early
then.
On.
Let's see, that's.
But now that's the hard part.
That sequel,
because people thought they were gonna cast, because Sebastian Stan
looks just like him. Yeah.
He literally looks just like Luke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people thought they will use.
They can't get away with that. I don't think people would like it.
And they already fucked up the.
Lucas Solo.
Yeah.
You can try. You can find someone that looks like him.
It wasn't bad. It's Solo, but it's just like
the movie. Yeah, the movie was just it's not Harrison Ford. Just like with Luke, it's not Mark Hamill. There's certain characters that you can't, you just can't, and that's why I wanted to talk about with the George Lucas stuff, the sequel stuff, because
I just don't know.
Because it's a shame that the sequel trilogy is a mess because it does kind of ruin these story arcs in the shows and everything before, because. Because it's not cohesive.
If George Lucas did the sequel,
it would have been tied in with this.
We wouldn't have gotten Rebels.
No, I think so. I think Rebels would have been probably a little different.
I don't know.
Maybe Darth Maul wouldn't have been in Rebels. Or actually, no, he could have been in Rebels. It would have led to, but he wouldn't have done what he did towards the end of Rebels with Darth Maul.
I don't know.
Because.
I don't know. I think if George Lucas was still in charge, it would have been a lot of different things.
Clone Wars would probably still been going on.
Clone Wars still would be on right now.
It had a couple seasons left, I think.
Yeah, I think they were like 10.
Yeah, it makes sense because there was a lot left to.
There was a lot of missing episodes.
Yeah.
There's like episodes that are not even done yet.
Yeah.
Remember, I think that's what that they released now. Like some of them was like from like years before.
Yeah.
It was like I think the Bad Batch. That was like those are episodes that they had, but they couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
So they released it.
Yeah, but we'll get into that now. But this episode, great episode.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes. Next episode is probably gonna be like a little bit of a.
Like this is the thing where my only word with Mandalorian. If it's only 8 chapters, 8 episodes, I don't want it's like because I'm already seeing the same formula.
Yeah.
From the first season, like the first 2 random stuff, 3 is a big story point, then 4, 5, 6 is like 4, 5 is like just filler, and then like the last 2 or 3 is like finally gives a story.
Yeah.
Which is like
we'll have to wait and see. I mean, so far, like this episode, we needed it. This is it. Like, I feel like it was a big leap.
Yeah, because if this
in
was
the
another
story.
filler, I would have been like too fun.
Yeah, but this was a good episode. Let's see how next episode is.
It's just, I hate fillers. It's
yeah, especially when you have to wait every week. I feel like this show would actually benefit more if it was just binging.
It's like waiting a week for Clone Wars.
Yeah, which that's how it was.
Yeah, but like
that's why I was never able to stick with it.
Episode of like Darth Maul, and like the next one is like about a bank.
Yeah.
And you're we're learning about like how.
Yeah, and you're just like, what's going on? It works better when you can actually binge it, or when we were following it in order, which helps a lot. Because imagine you have random shit going on every week.
How many seasons they're gonna keep doing with this show?
Mandalorian? I know they're working on 3 and 4. I think this can go, and if they're tying it with Rebels and stuff. This can go pretty far.
Hopefully not too long, because the shows have a Chris 7th.
No. But when you have enough to work with, which this show does, I don't want them like rushing it either. But I wanted to get into now. That's why I want to talk about the George Lucas stuff, because we found out how we know about the George Lucas. What he wanted for his sequel was like Rey's character is supposed to be originally called Kira. Luke, which is really cool, and I think we saw some concept art. I don't know if that was made up or not, but it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I doubt though. That'd be
it was like Luke training, and the main plot points were going to be about Luke trying to gather back the remaining Jedi.
It was, he had the survivors of Order 66. It's like 50 to 100. Like he built it up again.
He was bringing back the remaining Jedis.
I think it was gonna be like a war on Jedi. Like I think it was gonna be like Darth Maul has his little army and like Luke has his like thing, and because Darth Maul had like a apprentice.
Remember how we talked about that? Actually, that's kind of weird. Remember when we were talking about what we would have liked to have seen? And one of the ideas was what we talked about was the Empire or whatever, right? The Sith, they're like kind of underground because they were defeated, and it's them trying to rebuild slowly, and then like there's kind of like this like battle, you know?
Except, it was Darth Maul with that really cool apprentice. I don't know what character it is, but like she looks really cool. And then like that Darth Talion.
Yeah, Talon or something like that. Yeah.
And she looked really cool with the mask.
And then Luke gathering back, trying to rebuild the Jedi.
Like 50, I think.
To 100 around there.
Like he was
training
the Jedi
Kira.
like Order again.
Training Kira, which would have been Rey's character, but then also Solo.
Not Rey.
Carrie Fisher's Leia's son, which is Kylo Ren in these movies. He was gonna do that where he gets manipulated by the Sith. So, and again, because I never had a problem with that.
But he would have stayed bad.
We don't know, but
I think so, because George Lucas, like if he wants a character to go bad, like he'll actually do it.
Yeah, and
because he wouldn't do it with Darth Vader.
Well, whether we did or we don't know that, but yes, I agree with that. Like where he goes, he gets manipulated, he goes into the dark side. So there's like little plot points there that in Force Awakens you can kind of see where some points come from. And then Luke trains Kira. He's trying to get but he's like also like in a darker place. He's not like full on like fuck everyone like in Last Jedi, like really annoying, because he's still training them, but he's just trying to build back. And with Darth Maul coming back, that would have been so cool. And then I believe in the last movie Luke would have died.
Probably more epic though.
Of course. And then Carrie Fisher becomes the Chancellor for the Republic.
Well, that probably would have changed.
Yeah, and then she becomes like the Chancellor of the Republic and stuff, and it turns out she's the chosen one because she was able to bring back the balance. Like the Jedi's back, the Republic is built back, because his sequel trilogy would have been about how they build back. Like yes, they defeated the Empire. Yeah, but how do you build back now? And he was talking about Darth Maul, and there's going to be a lot of different gang lords and like mobsters. So he compared it to like mobsters, like a lot of gang lords in different planets. Everyone is trying to look for power now because it's open. There's no set leader, which makes sense because that's what happens after you win a big war like that, and everything is just kind of disassembled, which would have been cool, and you get a lot of gang lords and stuff and all that coming back into play. Luke helps try to rebuild the Jedi Order. So by the end of the trilogy, it would have been the Jedi Order back in place. Leia is the Chancellor, and she helped bring that balance by the Republic is back in order. And, like, that's, what I mean? And then, that's not including how he was going to get into the wills, how this is, like, looking from their perspective, and how this all tied in. They're the ones, like, in the journal, the wills journal. And which again, Dave Filoni gets into that with Rebels and Clone Wars, and these wills are really cool. And I don't know why.
I wonder what you done with Han Solo.
Maybe he would have killed him off. Still, maybe he still would have gone that route, because I didn't have a problem with Han Solo dying by Kylo in the sequels. I thought that was actually good, but again, what happens after Force Awakens just goes completely to shit. But maybe he would have killed Han Solo. I think that would have been an interesting move, because again, the Sith is evil and stuff. And what bothers me is why Disney didn't do this, because if they had followed his outline, they could have set up the future of movies.
People still would have hated it.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. But like, if they had followed this outline, right? Because it's not a bad outline. It's actually
they weren't again because
they were too scared of the prequels. I get that.
Because the prequels, these fucking dumbass fans are trying to kill his whole family, George Lucas' family.
Yeah, that's death threats and stuff.
But death threats.
But what I'm saying,
that's what made him sell it.
Yeah,
because the fans pushed him away. Then Disney got it, and they saw how people hated the prequel so much. Like,
yeah, they're like, we're not following him.
We're not gonna follow his stories. So,
because I remember when Force Awakens came out, some leak came out about how he was gonna get into more midichlorians and stuff, and everybody was like, "Oh, phew, thank God we dodged that," you know.
No, but now all these
and look
fans,
now,
look.
But it's a shame because, and I think this happened with everyone, right? Where you go back, you watch the prequels, you admire it more. Like, they aged better, right? When you go back and watch it, yes, the dialogue is bad, but the story, the overall story is amazing. I just read up another quote that when George Lucas was telling executives about how he wanted to bring back Anakin as a 10-year-old in Phantom Menace, they were like super against it. They were like, "Are you crazy? You're gonna ruin everything. Nobody wants to see him as a 10-year-old." Because Darth Vader was the ultimate villain. He's Darth Vader. So they're like, why would you bring him as because you sympathize with him.
Yeah,
but that's the point. You see him from a 10-year-old to how he got. That makes it so much better. Because when you watch Revenge of the Sith, and you see him going up the tables lifting up, and that is one of the best scenes in Star Wars. Yes, the dialogue in these movies are not great. That's fine. But if you were able to get his stories, because he had a great story, and get good creatives and get a good script and with George Lucas overwatching all of it, you'd have a great movie. Look at the original trilogy, right? Like, he didn't direct it anymore. I think after the first one, he didn't write it either, but he was in charge of the story. He told them the plot points of where he wanted it to go.
Because he's not really good at.
He has weaknesses. Yeah. It's fine, but he knows how to tell a story. And then what he had planned for the sequel was even better. And if Disney had actually followed that...
he told Mark Hamill in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. He's had this plan. I don't blame him for not going to the Rise of Skywalker premiere. I can only imagine.
And then in the 80s, this is like prime George Lucas. He's telling Mark Hamill, like I have an idea for your next... It said in 2012. He said 2012 we're going to do
and that's around when he sold it, like 2013. But in 2012, he had the outlines already.
So oh my God, dude, that was sick. Man, he had that plan for so long.
Years, in the 90s.
But it's Disney's fault, but at the end of the day, it's those fans, man. Those fans
pushed him away. They scared him.
The fans pushed him away. Because me, I don't care. I don't mind the prequels. I grew up with them.
You grow on them. You grow on them a little bit.
I don't mind it, but the problem is the fans who are complaining now are the ones that pushed them away. And now they're like, oh shit, we should just stay with George Lucas. Yeah,
and the problem I think with what happened with Disney too is, I think Kathleen Kennedy's doing a terrible job. Yeah, she doesn't know Star Wars, and that's fine, whatever. But if they had someone in those meetings, right? Because it was Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, and another producer, Alan Horn or something. People that
Dave Filoni should have been.
I guarantee you, if Dave Filoni was in there and as a producer.
Did you see that clip of Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yeah, talking about calling him like the child of George Lucas.
Yeah, he's a child, and like.
If you had that guy there, and you tell him, hey, look, this is what George Lucas is giving us. What do you think? You need someone that knows Star Wars that can say, hey, I understand the prequels, but we can get this, and let's work on it. We can do this. Let's honor his final trilogy, because that trilogy, it ends with the Republic back in order, with the Jedi back in order. From there, Disney could have done so many of their own stories for the future. That's it. Like, you could have ended the Skywalker saga, and that could have been the window for Disney.
Yeah.
Because you know how Disney's always saying, looking to the future, looking to the future. If they followed his vision of the finish his trilogy for him and do it right, the ending would have been with the Jedi back in order, the Republic. That's it. Like, Luke is dead. Leia would be older. She's a chancellor, so you don't even have to put her on screen like that anymore. And then from there, that's it. You can start doing whole other stories with new Jedi and new anything. That's it. From there, it's yours. The world, you can literally do whatever you want with that world. You know?
The world is yours.
Yeah. Because that's what they want to do now, right? They want to tell new stories. And the original story had that set up for you. You finish the Skywalker saga, and then boom, it's all yours.
I hope for the next trilogy of movies that they're doing, I hope they have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
overlooking that.
even if not Jon Favreau, because maybe Jon Favreau's only working on Mandalorian or
But at
something.
least Dave
Filoni needs to be in charge here. Like, that guy knows.
No, but I hope he's overlooking that.
He should be
sequel trilogy,
overlooking
that other
everything.
trilogy that
Yeah.
they're doing, because if they have another failed trilogy of movies again.
Yeah, that's it. As it is, people are done. Mandalorian's I think the only Clone Wars and Mandalorian were the Clone Wars is over now, but
people
Clone
are,
Wars was
like,
amazing
Mandalorian has hype, but at the same time, people are kind of like, yeah,
because
like,
it's weekly.
It's,
The weekly is hurting it. If this was to binge, the show would be doing a lot better because you can just push through the weaker episodes and get through the.
so that's
You
why
know,
the episodes are,
But Dave Filoni
The
should
thing
be
is, when
the
it has
creative.
A weak episode, it has a weak episode. Like it has, like it's like man.
Yeah,
tough.
and then you have to wait a week. You know.
And these are too short.
Yeah.
30, 35.
This one was shorter. This was the shortest
Yeah,
one
but
so
now
far.
it's like going now because they always again it's the same thing from the first season. The first two are long, and then it goes back down to 30 minutes. Which is
Yeah,
annoying.
this one was 35.
Which is annoying. Like I don't mind, just do it longer. I just don't get it.
Especially since it's only 8 episodes. You know.
Man. Because I kind of know what they're doing. It's the same like it's gonna be like that for forever. It's gonna be like the last 2 episodes are gonna be the main plot points, but before that it's just gonna be like him doing random shit.
Yeah.
And again, if it's the same formula again, like for this season, like man, I'm just gonna wait because it's hard for me to watch weekly.
When we're so used to binging, we're used to binging too. That's the thing.
But the thing is, Clone Wars works as binge because you get by the filler and you get the main plot point and you keep going.
But
with this is like it's always the middle is mostly sometimes filler.
Yeah.
And I think the next episode will be another filler, another side plot. Again, at the end it teases something.
Yeah. Let's see. You know.
But I mean, hopefully,
we got some great stuff.
Wrong.
Yeah, we got some great stuff this episode. And with the whole sequel trilogy thing, it's just a shame.
Yeah,
you know. But you know what? If I always say this, and I want to say it again, like if Lucasfilm or Disney, whoever it is, right? I feel like what would be such a good service for the fans is you have Dave Filoni there. You have an idea of what you wanted his outline to be, and they know that the sequel trilogy failed.
Who's doing the other trilogy?
I don't think we know. I don't think we know right now.
Wasn't he gonna write one?
I don't know. Right, it's still very under wraps.
And those other things that they have planned.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
Those
but
things, I don't know what they're doing.
With this sequel trilogy, that could have been right. I think what would help because they're obviously not gonna redo the movies. That's it. It's done. The damage is done. But they know the damage is done. They know that this sequel trilogy was a flop. Like I think the second that Daisy really came out and said, "Oh yeah, at first I was gonna be a Kenobi, then I was no one, then I became a Palpatine."
That just showed they had no plan.
When that came out, I think that crushed all the fans. Like that's it.
Star Wars theory.
Even Star Wars theory. I don't know if Disney or Lucasfilm would do this. Ultimately, it's Disney because they're the one. I don't think. I think this is a great idea. You get Dave Filoni, who's been called the child of George Lucas, right? You tell him, hey, let's give this to we've messed up that sequel trilogy. Can we do this? And it's the outline of the 3 movies that George Lucas had planned. Make it into an animated series like a Rebels. Rebels was 4 seasons, or like a Clone Wars like that. Make it into a 4 seasons, whatever they feel that it could be. Each season, for a movie, right? However they want it to work. That would work because now you can bring back the original characters how you wanted to, and you don't have to work because Carrie Fisher's dead, and obviously you can't you're not going to recast or bring them back. They're old already. It's hard to. But look at Clone Wars. You were able to recast. Like you had Anakin. You had I think in Rebels Leia comes out. And these are animated characters that are voiced by different people, but you understand, like, okay, those are the characters. So if you get Dave Filoni and tell him, hey, can we make this outline into a show, an animated show, and you can work on it, how amazing would that be? This is the guy that did Clone Wars, the guy that did Rebels, as a way to, like, service that.
Disney
into 4 seasons, because Dave Filoni, he already got into the Wills. He already got into all the stuff that George Lucas was setting up. I don't think they'll do it, but that would be such a great idea. Like I don't know why. Like I hope someone is in there saying, "Hey, like
No.
Why don't we give this to the fans?
They won't because Disney would never admit that they were wrong.
Yeah, because I think actually Star Wars Theory said that he's like that would admit that they messed up and they're too arrogant for that.
They would never admit that they were wrong. Look at Kathleen Kennedy. She's like, oh yeah, we had that in the book.
Yeah, we had this planned in the book.
2 weeks before filming when she found out that she was gonna be a Palpatine.
Yeah, and
2 weeks before filming. They're lying. And that's just showing they have no plan with Star Wars. They have no idea what they're doing. Honestly, Mandalorian is the only thing we have left. That's once Mandalorian ends, Star Wars is gonna die.
Yeah,
it's gonna die. That's it. Like Star Wars, the name, just everything about it is just gonna go away. Because it's true. Because the movies suck. You haven't done a good movie. So what? Rogue One. Again, but that involves no Jedi.
Yeah, we
Disney
haven't got
has this thing with, like against no Jedi, as it is for Fallen Order. That fucking curator or the game director had to fight for them. You know, I want a Jedi.
Yeah.
So they have this thing against Jedi, and Disney just sucks.
Yeah. Let's see.
They had no idea what they're ruining Star Wars. At least we have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Let's see how long that goes for.
Yeah, that's my ideal scenario if they did that.
Dude, they'll never.
It would be similar to like the Snyder Cut.
If Daisy really never said that.
Yeah, that would be the ideal scenario.
And I'm glad she said it. Call them out.
The actors are all coming out saying it because they know. She knows. John Boyega knows. They're like, yeah, like.
Again, it all goes back to Rian Johnson.
It would be nice. It would be nice to.
It all goes back to Rian Johnson.
And not even just Rian Johnson at this point. Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, for even thinking that, just completely disregard his outlines,
that, but also, JJ was trying to follow it, but in a different way.
Force Awakens had the beats.
Yeah, but he just changed the feel of like she was a Kenobi.
I would have liked to just had at least a cohesive trilogy of what JJ had in mind.
That's what JJ was trying, but with Rian Johnson, he grabbed his outline because JJ gave him an outline.
Yeah, he had an outline.
And he grabbed it and just threw it over.
Yeah, because if we had at least gotten like JJ Abrams' version of this outline,
because the actors have said that the part 8 was very different from what JJ
it was setting up to where it was gonna go. Because if we had followed,
I think John Boyega was gonna be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Rey was gonna be a Kenobi.
Which apparently that's what they had.
And it's just, that's why I hate about Star Wars, because it gets me in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I hate this.
What if Rey, if there was this Kenobi thing, what if Rey was actually, how would it be Kenobi's daughter? Maybe.
No, she died.
Oh yeah, she did die.
She died before he could bang her.
Yeah. No, but apparently they had a thing before. And I saw when I was watching that recap.
Yeah, no, but the age doesn't add up.
No, yeah, it wouldn't add up. He would have to find someone else. But if we had gotten maybe like J.J. Abrams' version of the outline, because he was following similar like plot points.
He was following.
At least we would have gotten like a cohesive trilogy where it was different from the original idea, but at least we got something. But here it was like. JJ had an idea. He was starting it. Then Rian Johnson said, no, we're not doing that.
He was using George's ideas, but in a different way.
To satisfy both ends. And then Rian Johnson completely ruined that. Then the trilogies just went from, here's an outline to a mess. Like, let's survive.
Yeah. Like him saying your Snoke theory.
Yeah. So.
That right there just shows you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad John Boyega kind of he's like, don't blame JJ. Like, go blame
Ryan. Yeah. Yeah, literally. So.
Don't blame Ryan for that. Because it's true, because you see... Watch the making of The Last Jedi, and you see.
Yeah.
The set is very like.
No, they were done.
The costume guy did not like Ryan.
Yeah, no. But even with Rise of Skywalker, you can tell J.J. Abrams wasn't even as excited anymore. It was just they were figuring it out.
Let's just get this over with.
Let's survive.
Yeah, let's just make this movie
which is very sad. Now I see why George Lucas never went to the premiere for.
Imagine him. They see Palpatine. I can imagine him in the trailer.
Yeah. Oh no.
Poor guy. They ruined. You know what? You ruined
his last trilogy.
Not only you ruined George's sequel trilogy, but you ruined Anakin's character.
No.
In the process.
Yeah.
You bring back a character.
And because even his original idea even had Leia becoming such a pivotal character, right?
Yeah.
And which is a big leap. It's like a female character getting this pivotal role and becoming the chosen one. So it's like, I don't know why Disney was just like, oh, we're not.
But I mean, is that confirmed? That was his.
It's based off the archive book thing. It was his quotes. He has quotes on it. So it'll more is gonna come out as we go. But
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting this.
yeah. But yeah, guys. That's our Star Wars episode for today. Mandalorian, George Lucas's
Enjoy Mandalorian.
potential. But yeah,
Last of
guys.
Star Wars.
Yeah, let's see.
Because the movies, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
'Cause I don't know who's even doing it.
Yeah, they're under wrap. They're giving it time because they.
And as long as if Dave Filoni is overseeing the movies, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if it's like just all out, do whatever the hell you want, then just
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening, thank you for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, we know we've been out of YouTube for a bit, but we're just getting some new things fixed up, different mics and the camera, fixing everything. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Till the next one. Goodbye.